It's Monday, February 14th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central podcast, sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network, and we got a great show for you. And boy, I tell you, happy Valentine's Day. Of course, for many of you, it's already over, but I hope that you got your favorite person something nice for Valentine's Day. And if you don't have a favorite person right now that you are giving Valentine's to, hopefully that will change in the coming year. But I got a great show lined up for you. You know what comes next. Strap in really, really tight because here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking greater Honolulu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Todd Cochran, and I hope that you'll get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out our great content over there. Of course, check out the archive podcasts available via the podcast link on the website. That'll get you access to all of the weekly shows. And, of course, we encourage you to get subscribed. And, boy, I tell you, we have a full offering for you. You can get subscribed to this regular podcast produced every Monday and Thursday, which is released Tuesday and Friday mornings. You can subscribe to our special media feed, which just finished up with 257 videos that we shot at the Consumer Electronics Show 2011. 50-some hours of content there for you to consume and go through. And, of course, we want you to get subscribed to our Saturday morning tech show feed. That's where I bring in guests and we talk tech for a couple of hours every Saturday morning, very, very early here in Honolulu. So lots of content for you. New offerings coming shortly. We're continuing working that process. And I'm finally getting the agreement kind of semi into a workable state. We'll be sending that over to our upcoming show hosts we'll be announcing. And as I mentioned in some previous shows, I've got room for 4 more shows. So if you basically, it's been a while to get this ball rolling, and now I'm full in the mode of making this happen. So if you want to come on board as a content creator, you definitely want to drop me an email here at geeknews@gmail.com and join the Geek News Central family as one of the producers here. We're looking forward to ramp up the content that's going to be available to all the audience subscribers that subscribe to all of our shows. There's going to be a little bit of something for everyone, we hope, and a little different flavor, different styles, and I think that's going to be very, very important. Of course, all of you that are Ohana, the longtime listeners of this show, of course, the family members here in Hawaii, Ohana means family, and if you are, by virtue of just basically tuning in and listening to or watching the show today, you've now joined our Ohana, and I want to thank you for becoming a member of our family, and we hope that you'll, of course, tune in many times and subscribe. And of course, you can get this content on a varied of devices. You can find us on the Roku, find us on Boxy, you can find it live streamed on Justin TV, find us live streamed on Ustream. Of course, you can find this available via iTunes, Zune Marketplace, BlackBerry. We are all the places where you have media devices to consume content, and we hope that you'll tune in on a regular basis. And to ensure that you never miss a show, you'll definitely want to get signed up for our newsletter. Our newsletter contains really all the content that I'm going to talk about during the show. And getting subscribed is real simple. You'll find a link on the website at geeknewscentral.com. Just come over and get subscribed to the newsletter, and then I'll send you an email immediately following the show that contains all of the content that I talk about with all the links. That way, if you're half listening and half doing something else and you say, oh, I want to go back and check that, you'll have that available because the content's rolling off the front page of the website very, very quickly. There's some navigation links at the top where you can get access to the specific media, but the bloggers that have been writing at Geek News Central have been really ramping it up. And I'm looking at this time maybe to add 1 or 2 additional bloggers to Geek News Central. So if you're interested in becoming a blogger here, send me an email at geeknews@gmail.com. let me know what you've been writing and where you've been writing and some samples, and I'll consider bringing you on board. We've just finished up a huge couple of months, so traffic is up on the website. I'm really excited about that. Consumption of the CES content is, man, it is exploding. It is simply off the chart. I think we have a good chance based upon current consumption trends to do 20 to 25 million views on all that content. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We'll know as the time period goes longer, and a lot of work. I mean, a huge amount of work went into putting that content up. And I really, again, I had to, give a round of applause to my team for, I think there was 4 people that were writing all of the articles associated with the content. I would just go in and proof them and add the excuse me, the media links, and then push them up. But they did the bulk of the heavy lifting. And man, without them, this stuff would have been 6 months getting online, and then it'd have been worthless to you. But next year, we're going to have a little different strategy. A couple of the writers have said they'd be willing to take some days off next year and actually push stuff, it literally as quick as they can in real time. And so I'm excited about maybe being able to do that next year. So it's a strategy we're going to work on, and hopefully we can execute on. Um, if you've got comments on today's show, call the Action Hotline at 619-342-7365, 619-342-7365. And that way, basically, you'll be able to sound off on the show, leave your comments, positive or negative. And the line is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's a great way to provide feedback. Of course, geeknews@gmail.com is your direct line to the show as well. We want to thank GoDaddy.com for being a sponsor here. GoDaddy really allows us to do what we do. And they really make things happen where I can pay the bills, feed my family, keep, things moving here. So if you are a fan of the show and you want to support the show, share our promo codes. Go out there and use them when you're renewing your GoDaddy products. I know thousands of you are using GoDaddy products I've turned you on to over the past 5 years. I've got the best promo codes in the business. Geek5 will save you 15% on orders $20 or more. Todd will save you 10% on non-domain orders. CES25 will save 20. If you're not a customer yet, get 25% off. Use that on a hosting account, okay? CES25, get 25% on a new hosting account or as a new customer. Of course, Geek199 will get you $1.99.com names. So Geek199 and ComSale 2, those will get you .com renewals and .com purchases at lower prices. Excuse me. A whole combination of codes at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And all this time, I've been looking at the wrong. I've been looking at the wrong camera. I was supposed to be looking at that one, and I'm looking at this one the whole time. I need to put my lights up there. What a knucklehead! So that's real professional here. Oh man! Hey, I got a job opening. If you are in the Ohio, Michigan, Indiana area, and you're looking for a job, I have a sales job opening right now. All you got to do is go online and apply. I'll have a link up to it in the show notes so that you can check it out. Again, looking for people that are willing to, basically, you're going to have to move to the Columbus area, and we've got a job for you. And looking for some more applicants. We've been actually getting a bunch of resumes in, but I'd love to hire from within the community here. So got a job opening. Hey, I do want to give a shout out to one of our longtime podcasters at Tech Podcast, Adrian Bacon. He does the Geekinator podcast, Linux News Log. He informed us today that he had been laid off from his job due to a reorganization. Adrian needs your support, and he's going to be starting out a daily tech show now. Just kind of a quick rundown of tech news. And he says where there comes adversity, there's opportunity. So he's looking to ramp up quickly and hopefully grow the show big enough where it'll support his lifestyle. And we wish him the best of luck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of change protocol here. Adrian's been with us from the beginning, and I want to show support by him by playing his promo for his new show right off the bat here at the very beginning of the show. So you guys check this out. Have a link up to his new show in the show notes.
Hi, this is Adrian Bacon, host of Linux News Log and the Geekinator podcast, and I just wanted to tell you about a new show that I'm launching this week. It's called Today's Technology News, and it's all about technology news happening all around us on a daily basis. You can find it online at tech.quicksurf.com. Please subscribe. The subscribe link is in the show notes on each episode as well as on the website, and I hope to see you there.
So check Adrian's new show out, and I'd appreciate it that you let him know they sent you over there. And if you want a daily sampling of tech, it's a very short show. Check it out, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, what else have I got here in my list of stuff? We're going to do something. Well, actually, if you've enjoyed all the content that I put together for CES, I'd like you to consider a one-time donation towards the cause. If you thought it was good, you got some value out of it, you got some entertainment. If you watched during the live portion and you come back and watch the content we put up, consider a one-time donation by going over to geeknewscentral.com/insider. There's a link there to do a one-time donation. If you want to become an insider and support the show here, we'd appreciate it if you would consider doing that. I think we start you off at $2 a month is the lowest entry level on that. And you can, I think I've got links there to go all the way up to 25. So we love the $25 donators, and we love the $2 donators just as much. So if you want to support the show on a monthly basis, help us out at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Of course, you can go over to geeknewscentral.com/offers to check out all our current offers. And we want to make sure that you are following us on Facebook. So there's a link to the Facebook page, and go ahead and just click on that and add yourself. And we're having some good discussions in there over the last couple of days, so please join us on our Facebook page. So want to thank all of you again for staying subscribed and being part of the family here. And the main thing to remember is the show is largely supported by sponsors, and we're trying to, little by little, increase the number of actual content, actually listener supporters as well. So consider that. Hey, one thing that you want to consider, though, if you haven't listened to an audiobook before, is I've got a great deal for you. I want you to consider getting a free trial subscription to Audible. Yeah, man, I've been just tearing stuff up over the last couple of weeks. I've been sitting here doing a lot of mundane work, so I've been able to play the Audible books in the background. Every once in a while, kind of perk up, listen to something, and then continue working. Great entertainment. And I'm going to give you a free book just for trying the service out. All you got to do is go to audiblepodcast.com/CES, audiblepodcast.com/CES for that free trial. Do that. That's just as much as putting in a donation for the show. If you go over there and do a free trial, you can support us that way as well. And that helps us make sure that we have great sponsors again for CES 2012, which they were, of course, one of our major headline sponsors out there. Again, show editions. I've got 4 more slots for 4 more show hosts. Got one looking for high energy. I'm looking for someone that's really motivated, willing to sign at least a 1-year contract with a provision to go as much as 3 years as a host over here, and bring in a new show. Bring a show idea to Geek News Central, and we'll get you signed up and get you online. And really excited about doing that. So if you applied in the past and didn't hear anything from me, please just drop me another email. Tell me what your idea is. Again, I'm really ramped up at this point to really move forward on it. It's what my focus is over the next couple of weeks. And we're going to be launching the first new show here in a while. So I'm excited about that. Again, if you're thinking about going out to Vegas, consider Luxor. Luxor Las Vegas got a great deal for you. Very unique deal offered, available only if you click on the banner link at geeknewscentral.com. That'll take you over to the Luxor reservation page. You can price out a stay at the Luxor Las Vegas. Doing so, again, supports the show, and we definitely appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead here and bounce into the content. We took you way too long on the last show before we got into the regular stuff. Some guy on YouTube said, you yacked about your sponsor, you yacked about this, you yacked about your family, you did this and did that. When the heck are you going to start doing tech? Well, this show is about being family, talking about what's going on, sharing information, and we get into the tech in due course. And tonight is no exception to that. But I got a pile here for you. Matter of fact, I had to whittle it down because it was simply too much stuff. So I've got everything queued up here so that we're ready to bring up. Let's see if I can get that right. Now we'll bring up this. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so sometimes I know what I did. All right, background. Press the shift button. Ah, this new thing's driving me crazy. Till I get this new surface here, I have to make a switch. And it used to be, I used to be able to just do this one push. Now I'm having to hold a control key and some other things. It's just driving me nuts. Let's see if I got it here. I didn't get it yet, so oh well. Okay, let me go ahead and bring that back. There we go. We're back with that. Let me bring up the first article tonight. You know, the 747, amazing aircraft, been in service for years. But did you guys know that Boeing was retooling the 747? Well, today they rolled out the new 747. This is pretty exciting stuff here. Completely redesigned, different types of motors, better fuel efficiency, fly by wire, no more fly by cable. Just an amazing aircraft. And wow, this thing's gonna be awesome. And they're building a couple of models of this. One is gonna be for freight, and one will be for passenger. Looks exactly like it used to look like, but some big bodies there, and they're just growing. This thing is, I think, like I said somewhere, I heard you could have like 600 some passengers or more. So huge numbers on the people that they can seat in the aircraft. So just wanted to share that on the aviation side a little bit. Hey, the feds have seized 18 more domains in preparation for Valentine's Day. They seized sites that were hawking big name brands like Prada and Tiffany. So if you're out there thinking about buying your wife a Prada watch or some Tiffany jewelry, you are now protected because the feds have basically taken some of those sites offline. That's got to be just an absolute scary process. You've got a site, you're hawking some wares, whether it be illegal or legal, and you wake up in the morning and the feds have taken over your domain and you're out of business. The question is, if people are being that bad, when are they going to start arresting people? Obviously they're not. So far, they haven't. Well, our U.S. government's been at work today too, and they have they've extended key areas of the Patriot Act. So if you follow this at all, you know that they had a little bit of a fiasco last week. But the expiring provisions that the House adopted were the roving wiretap provision allowed the FBI to obtain wiretaps from a secret intelligence court known as the FISA court without identifying the target or what method of communication is to be taped. The lone wolf measure allows FISA court warrants for electronic monitoring of a person for whatever reason, even without showing that the suspect is an agent of a foreign power or a terrorist. The government has said it's never invoked that provision, but the Obama administration said it wanted to retain the authority to do so. We'll talk more about that later. The business records provision allows FISA court warrants for any type of record, from banking to library to medical, without the government having to declare that the information sought is connected to a terrorism, espionage, investigation. So the U.S. House of Representatives, instead of finding us more jobs and fixing the economy and cutting our spending levels, have re-extended key provisions of the Patriot Act. Now, just so that we know, so you guys know, wide bipartisan support, 275 to 144 was the vote. 275 A's, 144 nays. So, well, anyway, love to see how that actually broke down Republican, Democrat. So we'll have to look for that information somewhere. Amazon told the state of Texas, hey, we're out of here. We're leaving. And this was over a dispute where the state of Texas comptroller sent Amazon a tax bill for $269 million over unpaid sales tax. And So Amazon, which has shipping facilities in Texas, said it was leaving. Said, all right, you're going to do this to us. You're going to play these funny games. We're leaving. Now, we all don't like paying taxes. The state I live in here in Hawaii, the new governor, promised, swore he would not raise taxes. Oh, they haven't raised taxes, but they're going to get every penny out of us and every ever whip stitch they can to by adding this and that and this and this and that. And I think someone did a total. They're up to about $250 million in new fees. They're not taxes, but new fees. And remember, this state only has 1 million people. There's only 1 million people in Hawaii. So they've already got us for $250 million. They got to get it. Why don't they just ask me write them a check for an extra $1,000 or something? Okay, you're going to continue. They're going to continue to rape us with you know, taking money out of our pockets. Just send me a bill. Tell me what my portion of the $836 million shortfall they have, and just tell me what I got to pay. You know, 18, 1900, $3,000, $5,000, whatever it is. Just send me a bill. You might as well. But I digress. Anyway, Amazon basically told the state of Texas, hey, you're going to do this to us. We're leaving. Well, the governor got a little excited because they employ quite a few number of people. And the governor said, hey, this is all a mistake. Don't worry. Don't worry. The comptroller was a little over aggressive, and he threw the comptroller under the bus. And the Governor Perry said that, he even started defending Amazon, saying they shouldn't have to pay state sales tax on items they're shipping out of the state, which we all agree this is something that should not happen. He said you couldn't go in and out. You couldn't go in and buy anything out of that store, and that's historically has been the way we define whether you pay taxes or not. If you had a storefront, they obviously didn't have a storefront. It was specifically there to manage products that needed to be shipped out. So they had to pay sales tax on what was shipped within the state of Texas, I believe, but not outside of state. So anyway, we'll see what Amazon does. Amazon flexed their muscle, and they crumpled. So one for business there. Well, the administration should have had this right in an exact order, but the president's administration says that it can spy on Americans, but can't tell you what law allows it. Now, if you remember, I remember a lot of campaign pledges being said that we're going to remove all of this net neutrality stuff. We're going to get rid of all that. That's going to go away. We don't need that anymore. We're going to close Gitmo in a year, and but we're going to close. We're not going to spy on Americans yet, just like the previous administration. Yeah, the previous administration was doing the same thing. They've extended some of the what did I call it? Net neutrality. What did I call it earlier? the Patriot Act provisions. They've extended some of those Patriot Act provisions, and they're claiming now, the Justice Department is now claiming that the FBI has the right to get phone records on any calls made from in the United States to an international number without any oversight. Now, a few years ago, there was a similar controversy when it came out. The FBI would just call the phone companies and ask for records, and but I guess now they don't even need to have any oversight. Now, I guess maybe they didn't have any oversight before, but once again, the Patriot Act continues to be in use here. And don't get me wrong, I don't. If you're on one side of the spotlight or the other when it comes to the administration, I'm just trying to call out stuff that people have said that they were going to change and haven't been changed. And here we have the whole situation with the administration still essentially spying on Americans. And it'd be kind of curious someday, maybe through a Freedom of Information Act, we'll find out how extensive that was. And maybe it'll turn out that it wasn't very extensive, but it sure makes you go, But I guess that's, if it keeps us safe, that's the price we have to pay at this point until there's someone that is in that's elected in that decides that this practice needs to come to an end. But that's what our legislatures have decided for us up to this point. There's a good article on TechDirt. We talked a little bit on the last show about essentially content creators having control of music and content being supported by you, the audience members, and building communities and everything. So what TechDirt is talking about today is they're saying it's nice to see how content creators have more power over the middlemen. And this is specifically about Conan O'Brien's embrace of social media. In his Fortune article about his show, basically basically impaired that he's in control of all on-air creativity and just as important, all the digital use of the content. And he has a production company for his own show, and it's the opposite of O'Brien set up NBC, which is interesting. It says Conoco owns the show, and TBS is a participant. At the Tonight Show, NBC owned the show, and we were participants. And ownership makes all the difference for O'Brien and his team. And I think that's important for anyone, and it's one of the things that I have to look at as shows come into Geek News Central. We want the content creators to feel like they own the show, but also at the same time, they got to find a happy medium to protect the network. We don't want a show building up on basically from the base of this audience and then leaving, in 2 years or a year. And so there has to be some happy balance there. And so it is kind of an interesting dynamic. We're seeing what's being played out here with Conan. It's kind of cool because it just kind of shows you where things are heading. There has to be this participation and in partnership and working together. And I think that's important. But anyway, we'll see how this turns out for Conan. Has anybody been watching any shows? I be honest with you, I haven't. So I hear him talking about in the news a lot, but I don't know what type of market share he has over at TBS. I think we've known this for a while, but new evidence is suggesting that major film studios have been uploading movie clips to YouTube, pretending to be pirated. And one of the tidbits that came out of the YouTube Viacom lawsuit was the fact that Viacom quite frequently would upload its own clips to YouTube, certain portions of a clip, and then at the same time, within a few days, demand a takedown of that content. And so this was all about promoting. This was happening right before the release of a movie. So it makes you wonder if Viacom loses their ability of claiming that YouTube clips are damaging the brand, doesn't it? So kind of an interesting development here on the ongoing appeal by Viacom on their court ruling. There's a good article over on technologyreview.com talking about how your username may betray you. Well, you guys know what username I use. I use my username Geek News everywhere. Geek News on this, Geek News on that. It's it's my brand. It's where I want to. It's how I want to be known by, largely online. But for those of you that may not be so public or forward-facing, said by creating a distinctive username and using it on multiple sites, you may be giving online marketers and scammers a simple way to track you. 4 researchers from the French National Institute of Computer Science studied over 10 million usernames collected from public Google profiles, eBay accounts, and several other sources. They found that about half of the usernames used on one site could be linked to another online profile. It was allowing marketers and scammers to build a more complex picture of users. I'm going to be honest with you. They know what we're doing. They already know. I went searching for something the other day, and I went to a completely unrelated website, and bam, there was an ad. I'm like, that's what I was looking for. And there was an ad there on the website that was specifically targeted towards what I was looking for the previous day. So they're dropping cookies and following us and tracking us. They know what we're doing already. So I don't think this should come as a surprise to anyone. But does it unnerve you a little bit that they're tracking and collecting as much data as they are on you? Love to hear your feedback at geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. This evening when I got back here in the studio, after I actually had my wife go out and she picked up sushi tonight. That was kind of our little Valentine's dinner treat. And she was complaining about the place that she went. It was a new place we tried, and they didn't have ginger. And So we were sitting at the dinner table with the kids and talking about stuff, and I said, I'm just like tired. And I said, I don't know why, but I just want to lay down on that couch and take a nap. And she very sternly looks at me. The show must go on. So she kicked me in the butt, and I came in here and got ready. But I'm sitting here tonight going, I need to finish. But I'm doing good. Hey, hacked email reveals plans for dirty trick campaigns against U.S. chamber foes. And this was an article up on the Washington Post. Oh, my goodness. We talked about this group already a little bit, but the anonymous folks were able to basically get the emails from the H.B. Gary Federal Company. And they dumped tens of thousands of internal company emails on the internet. And one thing that they found was that they were trying to get ready to propose to U.S. Chamber a proposal that were dubious counterintelligence proposals aimed at enemies of Bank of America and the Chamber. The proposals included distributing fake documents and launching cyber attacks. The more I hear about this HB Gary Federal Company, these folks, it sounds to me like the feds need to go in there and find out what they're doing, but it just shows you. Here you've got a security firm, and they're proposing attacks, cyber attacks, and distributing fake documents, falsifying documents, and putting these out on the net against enemies of Bank of America and the U.S. Chamber. Now the U.S. Chamber says, "Hey, we have no idea. We don't know any. We don't know anything about that. We don't know. We never heard nothing about this." Even though the folks at HB Gary Federal say, "Hey, we had to talk with them." Wow. Two other security firms named the emails, Barrico Technologies and Plantar Technologies, also have issued statements distancing themselves from the plans. HB Gary Federal and Hutton & Williams declined to comment. I guess Hutton & Williams is a law and lobbying firm that worked for the U.S. Chamber. This is crazy stuff. Wow. Wow. Just think of the discovery that can be, some lawsuits come up there. Okay, we don't need to do discovery. We know these emails are available. Wow, a lawyer's going to have a heyday with this. Someone's going to sue someone big time. All right, let's talk a little bit about Apple and its dominance, and of course, Android as well. We know that there's a big Mobile World Congress is going on in Barcelona next week. And a lot of the discussions that are going to be going on in Barcelona are subject around really the impact that they're having, basically in data usage and regulating companies like France Telecom, Telefonica, SA. Basically, they're making these carriers feel what American carriers are feeling, where declining landline subscribers. And they're basically saying, hey, we're just dumb data haulers. And, our infrastructure cannot support all this growth in mobile phones and people using data on their mobile things. We need help. So, these operators are, they're asking for money from Google and Apple, and because they say their infrastructure can't support all this growth. Your customers are paying. It's amazing. It's really amazing, this whole article on Business Week. If you go through it, we made millions for the years past and billions, and now the market's changing and we're not adapting and we want money. Tough. Figure it out. Over on Bloomberg, there's a good article of the top 20 countries with the highest per capita cell phone use, and no, it's not the United States. The United Arab Emirates are reported more than 2 mobile phones for each citizen. A close second is the tiny Montenegro. Apparently these, of course, I know UAE has a huge number of foreign workers, so a lot of times employers will buy a couple of phones and give them to their their workers. So, and, being in UAE, everyone's got a doggone cell phone stuck to their ear. And, but the United States and China appear to have room to grow. Mobile phone penetration stands at 91% in the United States and a mere 56% in mainland China. And we're near the bottom of the top 20 list. So this is kind of an interesting statistic for you. You guys ever want to know what those symbols are at the bottom of your iPhone? Well, I got a good article to link you to over on Ars Technica that talks about the what those symbols mean. And I think one of them pretty easy to figure out, that you're not supposed to throw your old iPhone in the trash can. So I have that link up for you in the show notes. Hey, you ever wonder out how they determined what a kilogram was? Yeah, you think about that. Okay, how did they know a pound is a pound? How did they determine a pound? All right, well, I got the answer for you on the kilogram. The kilogram, or the actual kilogram, sits in a vault in France under numerous bell jars. It is the latest SI unit. Basically, this is how they determine what a kilo was. They actually have something that weighs a kilo, but scientists are trying to measure a kilogram by counting atoms. So they want to come up with a mathematical formula of what a kilo really is. So what's going on right now is they think about what's going to roughly that a kilogram is 6.002 times 10 to the 23rd power. And they say, as it stands today, our knowledge of this number is not known to a high enough degree of precision to redefine the kilogram and rid ourselves of the artifact in France. But that's what they think it is. That they think that is what the actual kilograms are in terms of what they called the Avogadro constant. And so that's kind of funny. They're trying to figure out, okay, how many molecules? Jeez. So link up me up in the show notes for those of you that are math whizzes. You'll want to play with that a little bit. Hey, metered billing in Canada is on ice, as Bell has admitted that it can't count its bits. So for right now, those of you in Canada, the usage data fees are off the table. I don't know if it's permanent, but they've said, oh, we think that we may not be able to measure accurately, so we're going to kind of hold at this point after a massive outrage by the populace, as well it should be. And there's a great video on this article, too. It's a great pirate video, and someone that I don't even know if it's the real ninja guy that produced this thing. But anyway, I'll have a link up there in the show notes for you to check out. I love this in the UK. This is beautiful. Finally, we've got a judge. Finally, we have a judge that is got some common sense. There's a copyright infringement pay up later case. A UK patent and copyright judge has a major revelation. He says, just because some liar cites an internet protocol address where the illegal file sharing may have taken place, that doesn't mean that the subscriber living there necessarily did the dirty deed or is responsible for others who may have done it. He goes on to say, what if the defendant authorizes another user to use their internet connection in general, and unknown to them, the authorized user uses P2P software and infringes copyright? Asked His Honor Judge Brisk QC last Tuesday. As, of course, all of us say, what indeed? Anyway, going on is this guy has body slammed these folks, and the judge has given this group 2 weeks to continue the case or pay the defendant's legal expenses, as it's called. So interesting that this is going on. Oh, wait a minute. The judge has given the defendants 2 weeks to continue the case. Okay, I guess that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the defendants, if you're defending, why would he be asking them to pay after he said that? MediaCat have already closed up their operations, but may still be charged in a group complaint. Class act brought by the defense lawyers at... Okay, in other words. So anyways, they've wrapped up. So we'll see how this turns out. But very good here that this judge actually questioned this. So I need to get into this a little bit more deeper and see if I can figure out exactly where this thing stands, whether it's been thrown out completely or what. But this court is not happy with the group that brought upon the charges. Hey, Dr. Searles has got a good article about some solar flares, and I guess we kind of dodged a major bullet here over the last couple of days. There was a big flare up that was basically pointed right at Earth, and we had a couple of mass corneal ejections, but we didn't get a plasma blast. And but anyway, there's been some sunspot activity recently directed right at Earth, and I think we kind of escaped this one, but there was a few things for a few days. I have that link up in the show notes for you as well. The HTML5 body has decided, we need a couple more years. So they're going to wait until 2014 to complete the spec. You know, how much longer do we really have to wait? The Worldwide Consortium HTML Working Group is expected to anoint HTML5 in the second quarter of 2014. And, you know, this has been going on since 2007, folks. 2007. And they've been working on this to complete this spec. It just blows me away. Get it together, guys. Let's finish this thing up. Let's call it a wrap. Please. Now, it's been since 1999 since we've had a new spec. HTML 4.01 was released in 1999. And now, obviously, parties are going to be, we're already implementing HTML5, and a lot of other people are as well. But the provisions will not be locked in stone until then. And there's a study done over HP, and this was done, and I didn't know HP did this kind of stuff, but they did some research on Twitter, and this came from the corporate blog at HP. Their research says that mainstream media is driving the majority of Twitter chatter, and the HP team collected data from Twitter's own search API over a period of 40 days in the fall of 2010. From the results, sampling 16.32 million tweets, they identified 22 users who were the source of the most retweets when a topic was trending. Of those 22, 72% were Twitter streams run by mainstream media outfits such as CNN, New York Times, El Paris, and the BBC's. Another popular, most of these sites have millions of followers, fewer than a highly followed tweeter such as Barack Obama or Lady Gaga. So they felt then that the Twitter accounts that were from these major media companies were driving a lot of the discussion going on on Twitter. Now, I think that could be contested because, you know, we've had several earthquakes where a lot of the originators were just regular people in those regions. We've had breaking news come out of all over the place by individuals and not by major media. I know that when my cousin's three boys came up missing on Thanksgiving, I was doing my darndest to get the word spread via Twitter and have the major media companies pick up the news coverage. And, you know, it was like, tweet, tweet. It was quiet. Nothing was going on, you know, and it took a while to get their attention. So, I don't know. But they've got a pretty good write-up here. And you can see the full document. They've got a scribe document that breaks it down for you. Apple's rumored to be evaluating 3 new iPhone prototypes, one with a slide-out keyboard. Now, this comes from tw.apple.pro, and the site claimed that Apple has built 3 prototypes of the highly anticipated iPhone 5. So we'll see what happens here. The site reiterated rumors that the next generation iPad will include a built-in camera and will also be thinner than the first generation model. And so this site has been pretty accurate in the past. So we will see what they come out with. But what do you think about some new models of the iPhone? It only makes sense. You know, they came out with the original iPod originally, and then it took a while, and then they started diversifying. So only time will tell. Only time will tell. I tell you, if I was building apps for Twitter, I would be scared to death. An email to a developer list defines the next drama in the Twitter develop sphere. They say, this is what Twitter said, we want to acknowledge that there are going to be some things that developers want to do that just aren't supported by the platform. Rather than granting additional privileges to accommodate those requests, we encourage in other words, we're telling developers to focus on what's possible within the rich variety of integration options already provided. And I agree with Dave Weiner at scripting.com that this comes from. I agree in his assessment. This is basically telling developers, mind your own business. Don't do stuff that is going to negatively impact stuff that we're going to roll out. As you know, Twitter also has Twitter apps. And I am assuming that they are going to very quickly do what other companies have done, is lock out developers. So Dave is saying Microsoft did something like that, connecting their operating system, Windows, and their apps, Excel, Word, etc., to a private API that made their apps run better than WordPerfect, etc. And they denied they were doing this, but, home team advantage, right? So let's see what Twitter does. I don't know. It's just a very dangerous place to be in for a developer. Now, some interesting, of course, the big news last week was the Nokia Microsoft Windows Phone 7 essentially merger. It really wasn't a merger, but a partnership. And, you think about this. You've got the Android marketplace, you've got the iPhone marketplace, and you have Windows Phone 7, which has got a pretty small share. And then all of a sudden you bring Nokia, which at one time was the 500-pound gorilla, which now is a company that's trying to play catch up. And they needed a partner, and they needed one fast, and they needed catch up. So they basically, made a drug deal with Microsoft, and they're going to move forward and put Windows Phone 7 in the Nokia brand. So the question that I'm raising, do they stand a chance to do this? A lot of companies are probably gasping because this really changes the landscape. You're going to have 3 primary operating systems running, I would think, the majority of phones out there. Symbian, it's dead. It's gone. Forget the Symbian operating system. In another year, it'll be a footnote in history. But Scoble says that the newly joined Microsoft Nokia has no shot at really getting developers to write apps for them. And that RIM is even worse off. I forgot. RIM's actually got some phones out there. And the way that Scoble is rationalizing this is that, he's talking with developers. Developers saying, I'm developing for Android, and I'm developing for the iPhone. And I'm not developing for Windows 7. And without apps, I agree, without apps, it's going to be very hard for them to gain ground with Windows 7. But who knows? Nokia might be able to pull the rabbit out of the hat and pull up a miracle here. But again, let's think about apps. Who has Flipboard? iPad. Who has a history of jazz? iPad. Who's got Rupert Murdoch's Daily? The iPad. Who's got Oprah's new app? The iPad. Let's look at Android. What does Android have? Does Android have any of that? No. Does HP tablets or phones have that? No. Does RIM have any of those? No. Does Nokia? Not yet. They're not even in the game. Does Microsoft? No. So, what's this all about? I'm going to tell you, apps, 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 apps. This is where it's at. And no apps, it's just like, no astronaut, no, no buck, whatever there was that saying that came out the Apollo guys did, that one without the other and you don't move forward. No astronaut, no, no way to move forward. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Someone's going to email me and say, hey, knucklehead, what you're trying to say was this. But long story short, really, does Nokia stand a chance? Or is this the last hurrah? I think it was the last hurrah. Anyway, they had to do something. They were dead in the water. They were desperate. Now, on another front, Adobe's saying that Air and Flash are winning over developers. Huh? he says that Adobe has acknowledged that there's a war. This is over on GigaOM. They said there's a war going on for developer, and it believes it has some increasingly popular weapons to win the hearts of mobile developers in Adobe Air and Flash. They go on to talk about the number of applications and so forth that have Adobe Air or have Flash loaded, or actually how many phones have Flash loaded on it, on and on and on and on. So anyway, I don't know, but again, it's just like us. We have to pick the devices and stuff that we're going to build apps for, because it's it's a resource drain. I mean, you have to make all these different work with different operating systems and fit to different screen sizes. And it's a nightmare. And that's part of the problem with the Android. With the iPhone, I know what size I have to develop to, but for the Android, you got different size screens, and you have to scale stuff to go up and down, and it'll look good for everyone, and it's near impossible. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Developers are not going to have any problem holding jobs for a long time. There's a app that's going to run on your sim. Facebook is introducing, in conjunction with a company called Gemalto, it's a Facebook sim. And basically, this Facebook application works through a GSM SIM card to enable Facebook features without the need for a data connection. The application, which is embedded on the SIM, relies on SMS to pass message statuses, updates, and post and friend requests back and forth. This company is saying it'll work 100% on phones that use SIM cards. Basically, it's the Facebook connectivity delivered via texting plans. So I have the link up in the show notes on that. I'm really running way behind tonight on all my content here. Looking for a VPN service? Worried about your government spying on your activities or another government spying your activities when you're overseas? Lifehacker is a great list of VPNs that you can use to protect your connection. How about taking a lot of pictures with your iPhone? Well, I want you to check out over at PhotoJojo. PhotoJojo.com. They've got the iPhone telephoto lens. It's a pretty nice one. Don't know what the price is here, but it's pretty cool. It's collapsible, and you can stick it right on the end of your iPhone and take nice pictures. So anyway, it's a telephoto lens for your iPhone. Have a link up for that in the show notes as well. Hey, some astronomers are saying there's a giant planet right here hiding in our solar system, one that nobody has ever seen. Even while it's 4 times larger than Jupiter and it has rings and moons are orbiting it. This is what 2 astrophysicists are saying. The name of the planet is called Tish. The scientists are John Matisse and Daniel Whitmore from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. According to them, this colossal is hiding in the Oort cloud, the asteroid beehive that forms the outer shell of our home system here. 1 light year in radius. They claim the data already captured by NASA's Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer proves its existence. It only needs to be analyzed over the next 2 years. It says that this planet is 15,000 times farther from the sun than Earth, and it said this planet would be made up mostly of hydrogen and helium. So, is this the 9th planet? Hey, Gizmodo has of course, all this is up in the show notes. Gizmodo will have has had a contest on slow motion video or motion control experiment. Some great videos here. 86 fantastic time-lapse videos for reviewing pleasure. I have a link up in the show notes for you. How about a car, or better yet, a cart that uses Coca-Cola and Mentos for propulsion? Link will be up in the show notes. You have fun with this one. Watch the video. And now you can buy kits now to blow Coke and Mentos all over the place if you want to. That's from Be Amazing Toys, but a link will be up in the show notes on that. Hey, those of you that have Verizon Fios, you lucky dogs, if you do, and if you're flocking to Verizon, Verizon wants you to know that iPhones can integrate with your Fios TV. And they've got a new TV ad launching tonight on Valentine's Day that shows a happy couple using Fios, iPhone app, and the Fios TV. And they've got a great deal to bundle this together so that you can save a lot of money on your iPhone when you bundle your Fios internet service together with your new iPhone from Verizon. So I'll have that for you. Hey, he's got a good video about some fireworks. I swear this looks like it's Honolulu. And all I can say is watch the video, and you'll get a kick out of it. And just talk real quickly here about Apple removing the ping feature from basically their iTunes store or the iTunes platform. We used to be able to ping iTunes every time we produced a new show and it said, hey, there's a new show over here. Come grab our RSS feed so that you can update our listing in iTunes. As of last week, that feature is gone. Now, this has been there since June of 2005. Was completely unannounced. They removed it from their support documentation. It caught their support people off by surprise because they were all didn't have a clue about it. But since July of 2005, when Apple introduced podcasts to iTunes, this has been a critical way for us to give them the information that there's new show available. And now, if you're subscribed to the show, you pull my RSS feed automatically when you load iTunes. But if you are not subscribed and you just go to the iTunes store and go to the show and try to listen that way, you may not get the content in a timely basis. So please subscribe to the show. That way you'll be guaranteed to get the show on time. And we wrote up a big blog article over at blueberry.com, at blog.blueberry.com, talking about the impact that this is going to have. This is big. It really is. Not only from us trying to help content creators with their feeds. It's really now the content creators at the mercy of Apple support, and it sucks. It really does. There's not a lot we can do to help them out, but this is, I guess, and Apple's not talking about why, but just that they did, and who knows? Might have been because PodPress was pinging them the wrong way for a couple of years, and they got sick of being pinged the wrong way. Who knows? But anyway, that they've closed that up. All right. Here's some links you're going to want to look at for some stuff that I covered that's been posted recently on my site. The Toddy Gear, fashionable cleaning cloth. For those of you that have to wear business attire and want something to clean your iPad screen with or even your mobile device, you got to check this out. This $14.95 nice cleaning cloth, but also can dupe as a goes in your upper pocket there where you would normally put a handkerchief. Definitely check that out. I have that link up in the show notes for you. You want to check out the Vivitech 3D Pico projector. This is the first 3D Pico projector available. Very small, fits in the palm of your hand. That's how big the projector is. Pretty nice one. We played with it in the studio there at CES. You can actually watch the video on the implementation of this. Fun product, Spiro. Spiro is a ball which can be. It's a robotic ball that can be remotely controlled with your iPhone. A lot of fun, a little expensive because it's going to be available, I guess, for around $100. But if you're interested, you can make a reservation for your own Spiro or two now. And definitely check that out. Have that link up in the show notes. Just watch the demo, and you want one yourself. I get emails every day in the Geek News Central. People say, "Hey, I'd love to buy links on your website." And of course, JCPenney this past weekend got busted by, or actually recently got busted by Google for paying for text links as many as 4,000 bloggers' websites. And a big New York Times expose happened, them basically calling out, they're the ones that caught them, and talks about them running a link farm to boost their page rank in with certain terms like bedding, sheets, window coverings, carpets, jeans, dresses, stuff that JCPenney sells, and they got busted big time. And I just talk about how when I get these emails from companies now, I just basically tell them, yeah, well, I'll put a text link on my website. No problem. It's $10,000 a month with a $120,000 advance payment to my PayPal account. And I'll put that text link in a box that says sponsored link with a no follow tag. That's usually enough to get people to go away. And I got another one just before the show. But don't sell your site to the text link farmers. Please don't do that. And it's just going to make your site full of spam. If you think you're having sleeping problems, you want to check out Zeo. It's your personal sleep coach. Carissa, one of our team members that joined us at CES, did the interview. And this is a good product. If you think you have got some issues out there, you can wear a headband at night. It tracks your brain electronic signals. It sends that information over to Zeo, and it gives you tips on how you get better sleep. And may even, I don't know if it does the whole sleep apnea thing at all, because that's better tracked by your doctor in a true sleep study. but Zio's going to help you hopefully sleep better. So check this out. I actually may pick up one of these. Price tag on it is about $200, but you can get it through Amazon, Brookstone, or the Zio website, and it might be worth it just to give one a try. I'll see if I can get a demo unit from them. I'll drop a line to them, see if I can, but definitely check that article out. Hey, over on Engadget, the 2012 administration's budget includes a push for mini nuke reactor development. We talked about this a little bit on the show, how these mini nuke reactors, which would be about the size of a couple of trailer tractors, can be really set up and launched pretty quickly, and how it can provide a lot of power. So it's hoped that these type of reactors will bring a 28% reduction of the Energy Department's carbon footprint by 2020. I tell you, we need one of these in Hawaii. We really do. But anytime you say nuclear in Hawaii, people flip out. Even though there's submarines and all kinds of other stuff down in Naval Station Pearl Harbor that are supposedly running under nuclear power, I don't know why they freak out about it. Why are people so scared of nuclear? Why? Why? Considering, yes, there's nuclear waste, but you think about all this stuff we're pouring into the atmosphere with carbon, with burning coal and oil and everything else. Give me a break. We could probably someday, the savings that we have, we could punch this stuff up into space and send it to the moon or something. Dump nuclear waste up there, or send it on a one-way trip to the sun. Add a little more reactor fuel to the sun. So why are people so scared of nuke? You want to get green, nuke's the way to go, right? Love to hear your comments. geeknews@gmail.com. Hey, you want to archive your iPhone voicemail messages? Have you got a hacked iPhone? Got an article on how you can do that. Qualcomm is saying that they're going to bring Netflix to Android, so that's pretty cool. So that's a potential thing coming soon. Of course, Netflix announced today now you can stream on your Boxy. Netflix has come to the Boxy platform. So now if you're a Netflix user and have a Boxy, you can use that. Okay. Oh, someone is saying nuclear scares me, but nuclear is okay. Nuclear. Hey, you want to encrypt your USB drive? There's a pretty cool application by Hidden Crypto Adapter. Makes encryption a snap. You just basically take your USB stick, you stick it in this device, you put in a code, and it will. Let me actually show this to the audience. If this will load, this is over on ubergizmo.com. It will actually encrypt it. It uses a smart card in conjunction with it, and gives you some serious encryption of the media that's on the USB stick. So no pricing on that, but great way to get the data you have encrypted on a USB stick. Sundial concept wall clock, and I have to laugh at this because when you guys see this thing, you're gonna be like, "That's cool. That's a very cool idea." And obviously, it's a concept. But here it is, 5 o'clock. Go jogging, and it basically is a clock. It's on the wall, but it puts your data on the wall when you have a meeting, and et cetera, and so forth. But this guy's got like time for internet shopping, go fitness club, go jogging. When does this guy work or sleep? Anyway, link will be up in the show notes. You guys will check it out. Yeah, I wish I had that much time to go shopping and go fitness club and go jogging. Obviously, a different lifestyle than I have. We talked about Looky TV already, but it's worth checking out again if you're looking for an IPTV type of service. How many of you are Star Wars fans? How would you like to get a lightsaber that tells you whether or not you should be Luke or be Darth Vader? Well, for $14.99, you can go out and pick up the Star Wars mini lightsaber dark side detector kit. And this is a little kit that lets your kids put this together. And once they turn it on through some technology within the lightsaber, it will automatically determine whether you should be a Jedi or if you are a Darth or Sith. And it'll know. It'll tell you which side of the Force you're on. So for $14.99, pretty cool little thing. I think I'm going to pick one of these up as a future birthday present for a little one, and he should enjoy it. Hey, BitTorrent folks are working with Khan Academy to distribute education materials. I think this is great. And I think we may have talked about this before, but all stuff for peer-to-peer is not always evil. And it's definitely a great way to distribute educational materials. So the BitTorrent folks have teamed up with them. Now, at the same time, the record labels have sued IsoHunt for millions of dollars. A group of 26 major record labels have sued the owner of Canadian BitTorrent site IsoHunt for alleged eliciting copyright infringement on a massive scale. The lawsuit through the lawsuit, the labels hope to shut down the IsoHunt website while receiving over $4 million in punitive damages to compensate for their claimed loss. Of course, they lost a big one here recently to the movie industry as well as the United States. So they say they're going to defend this dramatically. For those of you who have a Windows phone, hey, you know what? I got some apps here for you to check out. And, I started to, after I heard all this stuff about apps, kind of went looking around for some apps for the Windows phone. Found a link to some cool ones. I have that up in the show notes. But this is supposedly the best Windows phone apps. There's an navigation application. There's what's called Windows Phone Insider. There's the Flickr for Windows Phone 7, the New York Times newsreader, and a game called Balloon Gunner. So I have that up in the show notes for you to check out for those of you who has Windows phones. And, of course, information on the Nokia Windows partnership or merger or whatever it is. Microsoft should have just bought Nokia. If you are a developer or a designer, there's like 5 million conferences you can go to every year. I was just blown away by the number. And I guess if you are in the conference attending business, this would be a great opportunity just to do nothing but go to events. I mean, they just run concurrently, one after the other. And, but I just didn't realize there was that much stuff going on in the developer world for basically web development. Hey, you guys heard about this Jeopardy Watson challenge? This week on Jeopardy, the quiz show will be watched by more folks just because they are going to be going head-to-head again with an IBM computer. And they're using what's called the Watson database to do the competition in the show. So if anybody's seen this and watch how it went down, I'd love to hear feedback on this. But anyway, the IBM Watson computer is taking on Jeopardy quiz show champ Watson. And they're saying that he doesn't stand a chance. So we'll see how this turns out. Over on Ogizmo, multiple line extension cords puts extra outlets at your reach. And I don't know why someone didn't come up with this before, but this is just such practical little ideas on extension cords and so forth. I could have used exactly this. I mean, exactly this at CES. Instead of running one cord to plug into another, one that has multiple plugs. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just such a simple idea. And ordered multiple line extension cords and $16 to $22, okay? And they're cute. I don't need it to be cute, but I just need multiple plug-ins on, spaced about every 5 feet. And that's exactly what this does. I can feel this running long tonight, folks. Swingline is a shredder that can gobble up to 100 pages at a time. Actually, you kind of feed it, and it just takes them one at a time. But how many of you can ever get your shred stack to be nicely uniform like you would? It goes into a printer. Anyway, this is a new shredder out there. It's called Stack and Shred. I'd like to see them use regular bills and stuff being shredded. But anyway, link will be up in the show notes for that. If you're needing a new shredder, this might be a consideration. I still like the one from Black & Decker, the Bose. Cord Cutter Survival Stories by OTT at New TV. So I have this link up in the show notes. If you're in our cord cutting has went very well. Thank you very much. We haven't been missing the major programs at all. Bad news for studios. Viewers preferring rentals online versus buying DVDs. And they feel that the number of DVDs being bought will continue to shrink through 2015. And within the next year and a half or so, where online rentals will outdo people actually buying DVDs, I'm not surprised. Matter of fact, we went over to a friend's house of ours, and they said, hey, you want to take some DVDs home? I'm like, you guys buy DVDs?" And I kind of was kind of foreign to me. I'm like, I haven't bought DVDs in years, and so they sent us home with a stack of DVDs to watch, and most of the movies were on Netflix. So I don't know. Anyway, rumor Apple to integrate Mac App Store into iTunes. Oh, please don't. Make it online. All right, how dumb can some people get? Teenagers admit to trying to hire a hitman on Facebook. Okay, let's ask to hire a hitman on our Facebook wall. Don't you think you're going to get arrested? Anyway, this guy's was also he's been charged with rape as well. So he was basically trying to hire a hitman to kill the woman that he raped. This guy's going to needs to go to the pen for a long time. If you're a Windows user, got a great great Windows tip that I didn't even know about on how to rename a group of files real quickly. Sometimes you copy images in and they're kind of named funky. Well, there's a great way to rename a huge number of files at once. One of the most interesting things today was Google is releasing a Chrome extension to block search spam. So if you see something in a search that you don't like, you can click on it to block it, and they're going to start sending that information back to Google, and Google may use that information to help improve search results. Man, I could see this being campaigns against companies where everyone goes in and tries to block a company. It could be used for nefarious reasons for sure. Design your Facebook fan page with page mode is what you see is what you get editor. Man, I saw this tonight. I was like, this is me. I'm all over this. So I'm going to be checking this out, and hopefully I'll be able to make a much better looking Facebook page for our fan page. So I'll let you know how this goes, but I'll definitely be trying this product out. Found it over at makeuseof.com. Okay, yeah, we'll kill that one. We don't need to talk about that. Hey, if you want to create a Wi-Fi hotspot on your jailbroken phone, got a great tip tool on how to do this. And this is, again, another article over at lifehacker.com. And for you ladies out there that are dating a geek, there's a few tips for dating a nerd over at hackcollege.com. I'll have that link up in the show notes for you to check out. I love this one here. Try to understand when he whips it out in public. His laptop, of course. Either way, most nerds I come across share the common physiology need to access answers to any lingering question at all times. Either we're going to get our iPad out or our notebook or our mobile phone, we're going to find that answer. And let him fix your computer if you can do it yourself. Share your passion with him, no matter what they are. So anyway, some good tips for dating geeks. I think we're all geeks at this point. Hey, T-Mobile's showed off the G Slate, and it's running on an LG Optimus pad, and it's a pretty nice little device. So anyway, this is unveiled at NWC this week. So they've got a good write-up on it. The folks at Engadget have. I'll have that link up in the show notes. If you're T-Mobile customers, you'll definitely want to check out the G Slate. Killing articles here. Not that one either. I can get rid of that one. Hey, Internet Explorer 9 will auto-update to IE9 Final. So if you have if you've downloaded the release candidate, which I did finally yesterday, looks pretty nice. It'll update to IE9 Final without you having to do a lot. Also, in Windows Phone 7, folks announced in an update shortly, they're going to introduce multitasking, so that's forthcoming. If you are a Foursquare user and you are French, German, Italian, Spanish, or Japanese, there is a version for you now in those available languages, so they're expanding on their language base. And real quickly here on NASA news, they feel that even with the $500 million the House of Representatives want to cut from their budget, they feel that they still can add the extra flight. And so they're pretty confident with that. There's a good article on a Russian mission to Mars that's being staged in a sandpit near Moscow, how that's going. Pretty interesting write-up, pretty cool video as well. Video is pretty long, so take some extra time. This is over at thetelegraph.co.uk. And a drop tool out at the Kennedy Space Center is not going to affect the projected launch on February 24th of the space shuttle on STS-133. So Discovery remains on track to launch, even though they dropped a couple of tools. Not a good thing to drop around a spacecraft is dropping a tool. So quickly, that was wrapping up all the articles here, and I'm like horribly long already, but I'm going to go ahead and get into a voicemail that came in, and then we will bounce right into the some emails, and then I'll wrap the show up here, and we'll get you guys out of here. So here comes um, the voicemail that was into the system.
Hey, Todd. This is Seth from Michigan giving you a call. I'm listening to your latest podcast right now from the 10th, the Verizon iPhone release date. Ooh, such an epic day. And you're actually talking about podcasts and how Google was thinking that the term podcast was trademarked. I might be able to clear that up a little bit. If I remember correctly, this was a lot of years ago, like back when podcasting was very, very beginning, and I don't believe everyone is actually even calling their audio snippets that they uploaded podcast at the time. A lot of people were, but I think there were a few people that weren't at the time. And Apple was trying, if I remember correctly, I mean, double check this, of course, but if I remember correctly, Apple was actually trying to trademark, patent, whatever the term is, the term podcast for chunks of audio that are being uploaded to the internet. And the reasoning behind it is that it has the word pod in it, kind of like podcast and iPad and
iPhone.
iPod and all of that.
Yep.
So if you actually look back at some of the very early shows, a few of them had actually started changing over their names from podcast to things like Shoutcast and TechCast. I don't know if you heard about that at all. It was actually quite a few years ago. So it was probably in the very early days of your show. So, like, clears up something. All right, see you, bye.
Hey, thanks for the call. And, they still do not have a trademark on the word podcast. But for some reason, Google is recognizing podcast as a trademark word. You cannot buy AdWords against the word podcast. They just don't allow it. And, of course, there's no one to contact at Google to say, WTF is going on with your system. They didn't get the trademark on the word podcast, and there would have been a huge uproar if they did. Now, a company did get a quote-unquote patent on something related to what they determined to be podcasting, and they haven't tried to enforce any of that yet. But no one holds, as far as I know, and they didn't phrase the term podcast. That came from the podcasting community. Actually, that phrase was termed in mid-2004, and I have the history in my book on podcasting on where that was actually phrased. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here, but I know that right now I cannot buy AdWords against the word podcast. I just got a couple of comments on emails. Email stuff into the show is pretty slow this week. I got an email here from Jeffrey Powers letting you know about a new show he's doing. Of course, Jeffrey was with us and was one of the primary hosts for our coverage out at CES. He started a new show that's basically, it's called the OTT. It's a show that talks about over-the-top television, everything from ITV, set-top boxes to creating video, publishing, and more. The OTT will have guests that are in this space, demonstrate some cool new features of set-top boxes, and talk about news in the OTT space. And this week he's going to be posting interviews and more. Then in 2 weeks, OTT will go on to a weekly schedule. So you can find this at geekazine.com. Boy, it's a long link. But anyway, just go over to geekazine.com and you should be able to find it. It's in underneath the category feed. But he said it soon will be under ott.geekazine.com. Don't know when that's going to go into effect, but it should be coming up soon. Anyway, you'll find it over there on his website. Again, check out Adrian Bacon's new show, and I played the promo on that already. And I've had several more people call in or actually email me, say they want to be Android beta testers. I have all your information. We're very close to ready to pull the trigger on that. As soon as we are, I will be emailing you the developer's email directly. Actually, we're setting up a special mailing list for this, and you'll be able to, we could get you the information on how you can install our new Android app on your device for beta testing. Again, those that participate, we're asking for them not to say nothing publicly about that. So you're going to, just so that's upfront, everybody knows that to begin with. Okay, I'm done. I'm long here. So everyone, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being part of watching the show or listening. And as always, we'll be back here again Friday for you for a release. Of course, recording live Thursday night here from Honolulu start around 8 p.m. Honolulu Standard Time. Looks like I'm going to be home for a couple weeks yet. I don't have anything planned. Had a contingency thing today that possibly came up, but I think at this point I'll be here. So be here from beautiful Honolulu. Nice 85 degrees right now with the nice trade winds. It's absolutely gorgeous here. And, you got to consider coming out to Honolulu for a little vacation time if you're a little sick of the snow and ice. But if you want to comment on the show, area code 619-342-7365 is the number to call to leave your comments. Of course, you can email me at geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. And until next time, everyone take care. Make sure you check out the Saturday morning tech show that was recorded and put up online as well. That's available from this previous Saturday. But until next time, everyone take care and aloha.